There was an important speech by the Energy Minister, Mantashe, at the African Energy Indaba today. He spoke about what he sees as a transition of coal from generating high emissions to generating lower emissions. He also says government's created a task team to deal with the predicted shortage of gas after Sasol confirmed it will have to stop transferring gas from Mozambique to industrial users of gas in South Africa in 2 years' time. The supplies there are running out. Makhosonke Buthelezi is the head of communications for the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy. Makhosonke, good afternoon to you and thank you for your time. The Minister spoke today about how coal will become, I suppose, a sort of energy source with lower emissions than it has now. He spoke about a big study that's underway at the moment. What kind of technology are you looking at?
The technology, thanks Stephen, the technology that we are looking for is called carbon capture utilization, and it's a technology that the Council for Geoscience has developed. It seeks to basically capture carbon and reduce the emission of carbon into the air and then store it underground. And they have already started with that in Mpumalanga to do some sampling and testing, and it seems to be working. And that is the technology that the minister was referring to in terms of trying not, instead of getting rid of coal completely, we see how we can mitigate the emissions through carbon capture.
Has this worked anywhere else in the world? Is there anywhere else where it's working at the moment?
Yes, it has been used in most developed countries. Hence, we are adopting it as a country and trying to see if we can't use it here in South Africa. It's been used in the developed countries in Europe and in the US.
I realize we have huge coal reserves, and I mean, in some ways, that's why our electricity system developed in the way that it did, because we have such big reserves of coal. But the way that the world is changing, do you believe that there is a long-term future for coal to be used to generate electricity?
Yes, we believe so, particularly once we have a breakthrough, with this technology, which is scientifically proven. As you know, we have a large reserves of coal in South Africa, and coal is giving us a base load, and that is why even in the IRP 19 and IRP 23, we still see coal as one of the major energy sources that will play a critical role in the energy mix. So we still see a huge role that coal is going to play in securing the future of energy supply in the country.
So would Medupi and Kusile, they won't be our last coal-fired power stations? Do you expect there would be more? Or are you talking really about, I mean, they're only coming on stream now. They're both supposed to last for 50 years.
The direction that the country is taking is that, look, we've made commitments that we will gradually phase out our coal-powered station. And the talk now is that let's see if we can extend them now, since we are having this, instead of phasing them out immediately, let's extend them a little bit so that we can get more out of them. But the talk is not about looking at building new power station going forward.
Okay. I understand we need an energy mix. I understand that we have coal-fired power stations that are working now, and I understand that we need baseload power. I understand all of those things. Well, I think I do, Makhosonke. There is a group of people, a strong group of people, who will say that that renewable energy is growing very quickly. They'll point to places like in Australia, for example, in Texas, where renewable energy really produces a very large proportion of the electricity that people use. In our own country, we've seen the private use of solar panels rise by sort of 4,000 megawatts very, very quickly. So when we look at how the sector is changing, would it not be easier to just go with more renewables, to change the way that we do that, rather than look at carbon capture? I understand why it could be important and useful, but is it important still to emphasize coal in the way that you seem to be doing?
We believe we have to use all these technologies to complement each other. In that way, that is the only way that we think we can secure sustainable energy of power supply in South Africa. We don't believe that you have to replace a coal with renewable or replace coal with oil. We believe all of them will assist the country in terms of ensuring that we have a sustainable energy supply. And we are not anti-renewable as the department. As you might have seen, we've demonstrated in terms of the opening up the market and allowing private sector to participate in renewable energy since 2011. I mean, now we are talking about bid window 7 and 8, where we are inviting more private company to invest in the independent power program. So we see them complementing each other. We see them working together to ensure that we have a continuous and secured energy supply in the country.
Okay. The issues we've seen with gas, and the gas industry is really worried. You're working on a gas master plan. I know that's got to go to Cabinet. But what plans are you making? I mean, the industry is pretty much panicked about what's going to happen in 2 years' time.
Look, we're looking at the gas master plan proposes various alternatives, such as obviously looking at importing gas. We've got some gas discoveries in the country. In Amersfoort, we've got discoveries. We have shale gas that we've discovered in the Karoo. We have other gas in the Free State. So we're looking at all those alternative discoveries as way of ensuring that we have gas onshore from onshore sources. But there are also other gas discoveries in neighboring countries, in Mozambique, in Namibia, even on our west coast, we do have gas that has been discovered. So it's a matter of ensuring that we attract investments, we ensure that it's environmentally responsible and it's friendly, and then we can develop it to the benefit of our country. In fact, the minister indicated that we are on the throes of signing an agreement with the Mozambican government so that we can be able to source some form of gas from some of their resources there so that we are able to provide the gas that is much needed in the country.
There are going to be huge arguments about this as well, and I realize it produces a lot less emissions, less rates of emissions than coal, for example. But where you actually mine for it, the communities there will have to be consulted. This is quite a long process. I know the minister really seemed to be very critical of NGOs today. He described them as foreign funded, I think was his phrase. The fact is there are many people in the country who believe that we shouldn't be going this way, that we need to protect the environment. We need to make sure that, yes, we have energy, yes, we develop, but that our children still have a planet to live on. Do you understand those concerns?
No, we do. That is why we always say it is important that we have to strike a balance between economic development and environmental sustainability. And I mean, we have examples where gas has been mined, gas has been explored in most developed countries, and it was done so responsibly. I think we will also do the same, and we also approach that we have taken in exploration of gas is that we also need to take those communities along with us, make them understand the benefits and all that, and we also hear their concerns. We sit around the table and discuss all of that. So it is important that we strike a balance between economic development and environmental sustainability.
You talk about sitting around the table. Some of these groups have been quite rude about the minister. I think they might feel he's been quite rude about them. The minister quite likes a fight. We know his history. Are you worried that it's actually quite a difficult relationship?
It is a challenging relationship, I must say, because obviously we are on the opposing side of the table. It is but we need to talk. We need to sit around the table because we both have our own interests. I think we need to find a middle ground because obviously we need to develop the economy for the benefit of everyone in the country, but we have to make sure that it is safe, it is environmentally sound as we go along about making those explorations and so forth. So it is a challenging relationship, but we need at the end of the day to come together and discuss our differences and find a common ground.
Makhosonke Buthelezi, thank you. Head of Communications at the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy. Really appreciate the time.